From beggar to billionaire. Her mind-boggling decision changed everything at midnight. It was just past midnight when Mia's life took a jaw-dropping turn. No one could have predicted it, least of all the weathered old man on the corner of 5th Street, who had watched her rummage through the trash for scraps just hours earlier. The air hung thick with tension, like the calm before a storm. Mia, a down-and-out beggar, had spent her nights shivering under the biting cold, with hope slipping through her fingers like sand. Little did she know, the hour of reckoning was upon her, and destiny was about to flip her world on its head. That as she stood under the flickering streetlight, the shadows danced around her, weaving a tapestry of misfortune and dreams long buried. Then, unexpectedly, a surge of energy rippled through the air, an electric charge that pulled her toward a crumpled piece of paper glowing faintly in the light. It looked like an ordinary lottery ticket, yet Mia felt a strange, compelling force gripping her heart. Her pulse quickened, and she could taste the metallic tang of fear mingled with hope. What if this was it? What if luck had finally decided to pay her a visit? She snatched the ticket as if it were a rare treasure, her hands trembling with a mix of disbelief and excitement. Shouts erupted from a nearby bar, laughter ringing out against the backdrop of a chilly night. People cheered, unaware that a potential life-changing moment was just steps away from them. Mia's heart thudded loudly in her chest. Could a single moment rewrite everything forever? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The ticket felt hot in her grasp, her fingers soaked with a cold sweat as she read the numbers scrawled across it. Naked excitement danced in her eyes, but so did the fear of what it could mean. If this was real, it could mean an escape from the filthy streets, the end of long days spent searching for food scavenged from garbage cans. Could mean a home, safety, freedom. She was overcome by a wave of emotion that tightened her throat and made her cheeks burn. But was this merely a cruel joke? Just a flickering light to lead her astray? The thoughts churned in her mind like a storm, and as she gazed out into the night, something shifted. The wind carried whispers, secrets of fate that seemed to echo all around her. Was it too late to be saved? Or too soon to stop dreaming? Mia took a deep breath, the weight of her decision heavy in her chest. She felt a surge of courage. Tonight wasn't just about a ticket. It was about taking back control of her life. But would she dare to risk everything when the unknown loomed ahead like a dark abyss? The answer was just a heartbeat away. The night seemed to stretch endlessly as Mia clutched the ticket, each beat of her heart a reminder of the crossroads she faced. The air was electric, crackling with the weight of unspoken possibilities. She felt that every passerby was a witness, their laughter ringing hollow in her ears. Would they understand the gravity of her moment? With a determined breath, she turned on her heel and started toward the nearest convenience store, the neon light casting a surreal glow on her path. The world felt different, colder yet alive with the pulse of change. Shadows flickered as she moved, like the doubts that clouded her mind. What if it was indeed a joke, a cruel mirage that would disappear at dawn? A bell chimed above the door as she entered the store, the warmth enveloping her like a long-lost embrace. She scanned the space, searching for familiarity in an unfamiliar world. The clerk looked up, eyebrows raised in mild curiosity, but Mia's gaze was fixed on the lottery display, a wall brimming with dreams packed tightly in glossy tickets. "Hey," Mia stuttered, her voice barely a whisper. "I need to check this." The clerk, a burly man with weary eyes and a chipped smile, leaned closer, noticing the trembling ticket in her hands. "Wanna see if it's a winner?" He gestured toward the scanner. Mia nodded, her heart pounding like a drum in a parade. As she placed the ticket on the counter, time seemed to slow. The scanner beeped sharply, a sound that cut through her racing thoughts, and the clerk's eyes widened. "Wait, are you serious? What? What is it?" The words fell from her lips, desperate and raw. He turned the screen to face her. Her breath caught. "You just won $100 million. Reality twisted, a surreal kaleidoscope of disbelief washing over her. The ground felt unsteady beneath her feet. The clerk nodded, still in shock. You should call your family, hang on. He paused as though he'd just realized something. Are you okay? Mia's mouth went dry. Family? How could she explain this to them? The thought felt like an anvil dropping in her stomach. She could suddenly feel the weight of expectations pressing down. Plans she wasn't prepared for. The dreams of others, what if they became her burden? Would they see her as their savior or a stranger in disguise? Gathering her thoughts, she steadied herself and managed a small nod. I'm fine, I just need a moment. She stepped aside, her head swirling. The once vibrant store now blurred at the edges. What could she do with all this money? Her imagination erupted: houses, cars, perhaps a chance for an education. Yet, the shadows lingered, threatening to upend her vision of happiness. She reached into her pocket, withdrawing the crumpled ticket, suddenly feeling it was no longer just a piece of paper. It held dreams, but also a Pandora's box of new dilemmas. Her hand shook again, but not just with fear this time. It was that mix of excitement and terror, both exhilarating and terrifying. Like standing on the brink of a cliff. Just as she took a deep breath, ready to make a call that could change everything, the door swung open and a figure entered. It was a man in a dark coat, his eyes scanning the room like a hawk on the hunt. He locked eyes with Mia, a flicker of recognition passing between them. His presence was magnetic and unnerving, drawing her attention away from her newfound fortune. Mia, he said, voice low and dangerous. We need to talk. Suddenly, the gravity of her situation shifted. What did he know? Why was he looking at her like that? The heavy silence settled around them. What had she stumbled into? Her entire life and everything she hoped for was suddenly at stake. What now? Mia froze, the ticket still gripped tightly in her palm. The man's presence sent a chill racing down her spine, a visceral warning she could not ignore. His dark coat swayed slightly as he stepped closer, the fluorescent lights casting an eerie glow around him. Who are you? She managed, her voice trembling despite her efforts to contain it. People in the store had begun to notice, eyes darting between her and the stranger, whispers rising like a tidal wave behind them. Someone who knows you're in over your head, he replied, his gaze steady and unwavering. This isn't just about the money, Mia. It never is. Adrenaline surged through her as she desperately searched for the right words. The weight of the ticket pressed against her skin, a reminder of the possibilities and the dangers entwined within it. She wanted to shout for help, to run, but a part of her was glued to the spot, curiosity battling dread. Why should I listen to you? She asked, pushing through the fog of confusion and fear. How do you even know my name? The lottery changes everything, doesn't it? But some people will come out of the woodwork, he said, tilting his head as though evaluating her. You think winning will solve your problems, but trust me when I say it's just the beginning of a nightmare. Mia could hear her pulse thrumming in her ears. The store felt claustrophobic now, the walls seemingly closing in as sweat trickled down her back. What do you know? Who sent you? He took a breath, seemed to gather his thoughts. Listen carefully. There are people who will come for you, people who have their eyes on that ticket. They won't care about your dreams. They only care about what they can take from you. You need to be careful. What are you talking about? She sputtered, anger rising in her throat. This is my chance. My life could change. I'm trying to save you, he insisted, his voice firm and low. I know what it feels like to be on the other side of fortune. To have all this power but also all this danger. You think you can trust your family and friends, but believe me, they can turn into strangers overnight. The gravity of his words settled in the pit of her stomach, twisting it into a knot. Could this stranger be right? As visions of betrayal flashed through her mind, she felt the warmth of hope dimming. She had never asked to be thrust into this world of wealth and uncertainty. Why should I trust you? She whispered, glancing back at the clerk, who watched with wide eyes, too scared to intervene. Because you're not ready for what comes next, he replied, a sense of urgency creeping into his voice. I can help you, but you need to leave this place now. Mia felt her heart racing. A battle raged within her. She had just won a fortune, yet here she stood, facing an unknown foe. A man warning her of shadows lurking in the light. This was not just about money. It was about survival. As she opened her mouth to respond, the door swung open again, and a group of rough-looking men stepped in. They moved with an energy that reeked of intimidation, their eyes scanning the store before landing squarely on Mia. "Get away from her," the man in the coat warned, stepping in front of her, protective yet tense. Mia's heart plunged. Was this why he'd been here? To protect her? Before she could process the situation, one of the men approached, a malicious grin carving into his face. Well, if it isn't our lucky lady." Her head spun in a whirlwind. The promise of a new life was unraveling before her eyes. She felt trapped, cornered by forces beyond her control. "Run," the man ordered, his voice urgent, pulling Mia back from the brink of panic with no time to think. She bolted towards the exit, but the grasp of reality tightened around her. What awaited her outside in this new life, the freedom, or a prison of her dreams? A chilling thought pierced through the chaos. Who could she trust when everything was at stake? As she burst into the night, a cacophony of doubt and fear clung to her like a shadow. Was this really just the beginning of a nightmare that could swallow her whole? The cold night air hit Mia like a slap as she stumbled out of the store, the door slamming shut behind her. Her breath came in rapid bursts, every inhalation laced with panic. She glanced back just in time to see the man in the coat push through the throng of muscle and menace, his eyes locked on her as though promising to shield her from the impending storm. Heart pounding, she fled through the empty parking lot, uncertainty gnawing at her insides. The glow of streetlights flickered above her, shadows dancing like phantoms in the night. Could she even trust him? What had she gotten herself into? She sprinted towards her car, the familiar shape a beacon of comfort in the escalating chaos. But just as she reached for the door handle, a sharp voice interrupted. "Hey, you think you can just run away?" It was one of the men from the store, breathing heavily, angling toward her with a twisted smile. The adrenaline that had fueled her fled, replaced by a surge of dread. "Get away from me," she shouted, the words barely escaping her lips. She fumbled for her keys, fingers shaking as they brushed against the metal. "Mia, wait." The voice sliced through the tension. The man in the coat materialized behind her, urgency etched in his features. "Get in your car. Now." The men halted, exchanging glances, the atmosphere crackling with tension. Before she could process the danger, she lunged into the driver's seat, jamming the key into the ignition. The engine roared to life, and she slammed the gear into reverse. "Go, go," he shouted, pushing her towards the exit. The wheels screeched against the asphalt as she swerved out of the parking lot, her heart pounding a frantic rhythm in time with the pulsating headlights blaring against the night. "Where to?" she gasped, adrenaline still coursing through her veins while her body trembled from the intensity. "Anywhere but here," he replied, intensity flickering in his gaze. "They'll be on your tail. We need to lose them." Mia focused on the road, her mind racing. Who were they? What did they want? Questions flooded her brain faster than the highway lines blurring past her window. Every sharp turn felt like a potential pitfall. Every shadow seemed to whisper threats. She glanced in the rearview mirror, feeling exposed under the spotlight of a distant light that grew larger, more menacing. "They're coming," she whispered, fear tightening around her throat. "Stay calm," he said. "Remember what I told you. Trust no one. Not until we figure this out." Silence filled the car. It pressed in on her, heavy and suffocating. Mia gripped the wheel tighter, knuckles white. Just moments ago, her dreams had been within reach. Now they felt like a cruel joke played by fate. The men's vehicle gained ground, its headlights cutting through the darkness with unsettling clarity. A wave of dread washed over her as she shouted, "What do we do? I can't outrun them forever. Make the next right." He instructed sharply, and she obeyed, the tires screeching against the pavement as they veered down an unmarked road. The night closed in around them, swallowing them in a cloak of uncertainty. "Don't turn back," he urged, the strain of the moment etched into his features. "You can't let them close in. Just drive." She glanced sideways at him, seeing fear mirrored in his eyes. An unsettling realization struck her. He had been through this before. He knew exactly what they were up against. "Why are they coming for me? I didn't ask for this." "They want what you have," he said grimly. "And they'll stop at nothing to take it." A shiver traveled down her spine, her mind racing back to the moments they'd crossed paths before. What had seemed like chance now felt like fate's wicked twist. They hurtled down the road, And Mia knew in her gut that this was only the beginning. An unseen battle brewed between her past hopes and a future now shrouded in darkness. Before she could vow to fight, a blip of light glinted in the rearview. The men were right behind them. A growing certainty consumed her. A decision had to be made. But what would be the cost of that choice? Whatever happens, you must stay true to yourself, he said. His voice steady, but the tension in his jaw gave him away. What if I can't? She whispered, gripping the wheel, torn between seeking safety and facing the unknown. And as the horizon ahead blurred, she realized this wasn't merely about survival. It was about reclaiming her power in a world that sought to take it away. With the echoes of promise and peril swirling around her, Mia took a deep breath, steeling herself for the twists that lay ahead. Little did she know one fateful choice would unshackle a haunting truth lying just beneath the surface. Engines roared behind them, a symphony of chaos that pulled Mia out of her spiraling thoughts. The headlights grew closer, illuminating her panic-stricken face in bursts of glaring light. Each flash reminded her of the urgency clawing at her very being, stealing away the little control she felt she had. Take the next left, he shouted again, urgency flooding his tone. Mia yanked the wheel, her heart thumping wildly. The tires squealed in protest as they narrowly made the turn, but the shift of direction sent them barreling down an even darker path. Trees loomed like sentinels on either side, threatening to engulf them in shadows. Do you know where we are going? She panted, desperately glancing at him, hoping for a hint of reassurance. Somewhere safe, as long as we can stay ahead of them, he replied. His voice strained and laced with determination. Mia focused on the road, but her mind drifted back to the confrontation. Who were those men? What did they think she had? She felt like a panicked rabbit under the relentless gaze of wolves. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed behind them, metal on metal. She risked a glance in the rearview and saw one of the pursuers had collided with another vehicle, a cacophony that shattered the muted night. For a brief moment, hope flickered within her chest. Did we lose them? She barely whispered, half fearing the answer. No, not yet. His tone echoed her anxiety as he scanned the horizon, searching for the next turn. But we have to act fast. The tight knot in her stomach twisted tighter. With the break they had, she became hyper-aware of her surroundings. The trees started to thin, and as they broke free into a small clearing, she spotted a dilapidated cabin ahead, barely visible in the moonlight. Stop! He grabbed her arm, urgency spilling over like an overflowing dam. It's risky, but it might work. Sure, a cabin in the woods. That sounds perfectly safe. She shot back, sarcasm laced with fear. Trust me. His gaze locked onto hers, pleading. We don't have time. They regroup. This is our chance. Mia hesitated, heart pounding against her ribcage. As the headlights of the chasing car flickered away into the maze of shadows behind them, she made her decision. Anxiety roared through her, but deep down, she felt a flame of defiance ignite. She would fight for her freedom. With a push of the brake, she steered the car toward the cabin, gravel crunching beneath the tires. She parked as close as she dared, the sinking feeling of uncertainty gripping her throat tight. We need to move quickly, he urged, snatching a flashlight from the glove compartment and dashing toward the cabin. Why would anyone come out here? She exclaimed, fear battling with curiosity. Because sometimes the wild can hide you better than city streets, he shot back, already halfway to the door. They slipped inside, darkness enveloping them like a thick fog. It smelled of damp wood and neglect. The soft glow of the flashlight cut through the blackness, revealing the room's disheveled state, torn furniture and dusty windows that neglected the outside world. Is this really a safe place? She whispered, fingers trembling in the dark. Right now it is. We just need to stay quiet, he replied, a grim determination lining his features. Suddenly, the shrill sound of gravel crunching hit her ears like thunder rolling through a quiet sky. Mia's heart raced, and her eyes widened as the vibrancy of life outside became a palpable threat. How long before they find us? She breathed, the panic inching back into her voice. They won't stop, he answered softly. Not until they get what they want. But there's something you need to understand. What is it? She urged, breath hitching with dread. There's more at stake here than you realize, he said, casting a glance toward the splintered door. You're not just running. You're on the brink of uncovering something that could change everything. And the truth? It's going to shatter whatever safety you think you had. A chill swept across her, sending goosebumps racing down her arms. She looked at him, searching for more answers before she could speak. A heavy knock echoed from outside, followed by the sound of a voice calling her name. Mia, we know you're in there. Come out and this can end peacefully. Her breath caught in her throat. She had no idea what lay beyond those walls, and she felt the weight of the world crashing down. The decision loomed before her, sharp as broken glass. Would she confront them, or would she hide and hope they would leave? In that moment, she recognized the weight of her choice, not just for herself but for everyone around her. But the knock came again, louder this time, and her decision swung precariously on the edge of a knife. Mia took a breath, steeling herself for whatever was about to unfold. Heart pounding in her chest, Mia's mind raced. The voice outside was calm, almost taunting. What could they possibly want from her? She could feel the warmth of the flashlight in her hand, the only source of comfort in this oppressive darkness. He stepped closer, whispering fiercely, "Don't answer. Just stay quiet." His eyes darted to the window, scanning shadows for any sign of movement, but Mia's resolve faltered. What if they're right? What if there is a way out of this? Trust me, Mia. They're lying. They'll use anything you say against you. His hands gripped her shoulders, his urgency pressing through the fear like an electric current. She shook her head, confusion swirling. But what if I just tell them the truth? Maybe they'll let us go. Before he could respond, the voice outside continued, now dripping with insincerity. Mia, you don't want to make this worse. Just open the door and we can talk. We can find a solution. His patience stretched thin. He hissed, "Solution? They want to drag you back into whatever mess you've stumbled into. You're the only one who can stop them from getting what they want." Mia's heart dropped, realizing she was at the center of something far more sinister than she thought. "What do they want from me?" she whispered, feeling small in the vast emptiness of the cabin. He hesitated, then replied, "There's a piece of information you have. Something that can ruin them. They think you know or you have what they're looking for." Panic surged through her veins, igniting a fire of fight or flight. "What information?" "I don't know anything. Not that you're aware of, but they think you might. If you can remember even a piece of it, you could turn the tide against them." The knocking intensified, becoming frantic. "Mia, this is your last chance. Open the door. You know we can help you." She held her breath as the realization hit. This wasn't just about her. Lives were at stake. She thought of the people she cared about, the life she had always known, and how quickly it could be stripped away. There was a fight brewing inside her, like a dormant volcano stirring for the first time. "Do you believe I can protect you?" he asked with a fierce intensity, breaking through her internal chaos. I don't know." Her voice trembled. "Mia." The urgency of his voice yanked her back to the moment. "This is your fight too. If we're going to stand a chance, you have to be brave. We have to outsmart them." She took a step back, her body conflicted but her spirit awakening. "What do we do?" He gestured to the windows. "We can't be cornered. We need to create a distraction. Buy us some time." Before she could fully process his words, another loud crash came from outside, followed by wood splintering. Adrenaline surged. Panic clawed at her throat, but amidst it, she felt the weights of her decision mounting on her shoulders. Resolve was setting in. "Okay, what do you need me to do?" She locked eyes with him, determination blazing where doubt had been. "Get ready," he instructed, his gaze focused. "When they push through, I need you to grab that old axe over there. We can't afford to be overpowered. Remember, they want you. But if we show we won't go down easily, we might shift the odds." They moved silently through the cluttered cabin, the world outside becoming a fever dream of noise. Every knock and shout igniting a spark in Mia's heart, roaring for an answer. "On my count," he mouthed, tension coiling between them like a taut wire, ready to snap. She began to count in her mind, preparing for whatever storm was about to break through those derelict walls, determined to turn the tide and reclaim her life. But as she steadied the axe in her shaking hands, another voice broke through the chaos. "You think you can fight us? We're not just here for you, Mia. We know what you've done. You can't hide from the truth." A chill rushed over her, and Mia felt the ground beneath her shift. Whatever was coming next was far bigger than she could have ever imagined. And the countdown to their confrontation began. Mia's heart thundered in her chest, the urgency of the looming threat pulling her deeper into the moment. She gripped the axe tightly, her palms sweaty, the cold metal grounding her amidst the chaos. The voice outside, calm yet chilling, projected an unsettling confidence. You think you have the upper hand? This is just the beginning. Focus, Mia. He urged quietly, his eyes darting back to the window where shapes loomed like dark ghosts. Don't let them get to you. Remember the plan. She nodded, but doubt gnawed at her. What truth could they possibly know? Every question buzzed in her mind, but there wasn't time. The door buckled again, splintering further. On 3, he mouthed, his excitement mixed with fear. Before he could reach 3, the door exploded inward, hinges snapping as the intruders charged through. The room filled with howls and chaos, dust swirling violently in the air. Mia's instincts kicked in. She lunged forward, axe held high, ready to fight back the shadows encroaching on her sanctuary. The first intruder stumbled, surprised by her ferocity, but it wouldn't be enough. Voices erupted in angry curses. Hands grabbed for her, long fingers reaching like tendrils seeking to ensnare her. But she swung the axe, adrenaline fueling each massive arc as it cleaved through air and fear, narrowly missing flesh yet creating a rush of space for her and him. Keep moving, he shouted, his own fists flying, fighting back with a resolve that mirrored Mia's newfound strength. Yet a trap was tightening around them. Each second felt eternal, the weight of their situation sinking in further. You don't know what you're dealing with. One of the intruders screamed as he regained his balance, glancing back at the other rebels. You can't escape the truth, Mia. In that moment, a realization washed over her. The truth. What could it be? A single moment flickered in her mind, a flash of memory that felt distant, almost out of reach. What had she seen? What did she know? Mia, stay focused. He was shouting, his voice breaking through her thoughts, like a lifeline to reality. The intruders pressed closer, their desperation morphing into aggression. A barrage of fists swung her way, but the dim light flickered with potential, illuminating a fracture in the wall and escape route. Just beyond her reach with fierce urgency, she glanced at him. The window. He nodded, pushing through the chaos, his movements synchronized with hers as they danced between swings and shouts. Mia took a step back, gauging the chaos, then hooked her arm around his wrist. We can't stay. We need to go. She plunged forward, fighting through the tangled mass of bodies. The moment of clarity struck. She didn't just want to escape, she needed to uncover the truth. Every moment felt like a second chance, slipping rapidly through her fingers as they finally reached the window. She turned, taking one last look at the figures surrounding them, adrenaline surging through her veins. Fear and fury coiled together, a twin spiral of energy. I'll remember, she shouted, her voice breaking through the din. Whatever you think you know, I will find out. You win. With one mighty push, they sprang forward through the broken glass, a leap into uncertainty. The ground rushed up to meet them, but as they landed in a tangled mess on the other side, Mia's breath caught. The night air was thick, heavy with a new tension. Shapes moved in the distance. More figures were coming. What now? He asked, panic in his voice. Mia felt that familiar spark of determination ignite again. We run, she said, pushing herself up. And we figure this out. They'll look for us, but I need to remember everything. The truth is out there. And it's time I learned what it is. They darted into the shadows, leaving the cabin behind. But a question loomed like a specter. What truths waited for them in the dark? And more importantly, who would they become once all was revealed? The night yawned before them, a vast expanse shrouded in mystery. And as they sprinted into the unknown, one thing was certain. Nothing would be the same again. The cold night air bit at their skin as they sprinted away from the cabin, the sounds of chaos fading behind them. Mia's heart raced, not just from fear but from the pulsating need to uncover the truth. She could feel the weight of it pressing on her chest, urging her forward. Where do we go? He panted, glancing back over his shoulder. The figures were still there, shadows gliding through the darkness like predators on the hunt. Just keep moving, Mia responded, her voice sharp, glancing around for anything that could offer shelter or answers. The forest loomed ahead, thick trees forming jagged silhouettes against the starlit sky. It was their only option. Branches snapped underfoot as they plunged into the thicket, the underbrush tugging at them like a desperate hand. They ran in silence, each breath heavy with anxiety and urgency. Every rustle of the leaves sent jolts of adrenaline through them. Were they being followed? Did the others know where they were? Mia, wait! He suddenly hissed, grabbing her arm. What? She spun around, heart pounding wildly. I don't hear them anymore. His face was lit by the pale moonlight, a mix of exhaustion and confusion. Do you think they've lost us? Mia hesitated, listening intently. The night was eerily quiet, the chaos from the cabin a distant memory, replaced by the soft whisper of the wind through the trees. But deep down the tension coiled tightly in her gut. I don't trust it. We need to keep moving. Resuming their flight, they broke through the tree line, spilling into a clearing. A small stream glistened in the moonlight, its waters gurgling softly, an oasis in the midst of their chaos. Mia skidded to a halt, the sight drawing her in. Water, he muttered, collapsing at the stream's edge, fingers gripping the cool ground. Mia crouched next to him, the sound of the water grounding her thoughts. They needed a break, a moment to breathe, to regroup. We can't stay long, she reminded, but her voice was softer now, tinged with exhaustion. Why did they attack us? He asked, cupping his hands in the stream and splashing his face. That's what I need to find out. Mia slapped at her own cheeks, jolting herself awake. They mention truth. Like they know something I should. He looked up at her, brow furrowing. What truth? That's what scares me. The urgency in her voice returned, wiping away the moment of calm. I can feel it, like it's hovering on the edge of my memory. I saw something, but I can't remember what. Maybe we need to go back. No. Her voice sliced through the cool night air. If we go back, we're trapped. We need to protect ourselves, gather whatever information we can. And we have to keep moving. He nodded slowly, understanding the weight of her words even if fear flared in his eyes. Suddenly the sound of twigs breaking echoed through the night, growing louder, more distinct. Mia's heart lurched. They're coming, she whispered, grabbing his arm and pulling him back to his feet. Every nerve in her body screamed for her to run, but before they could dive back into the safety of the trees, a low voice broke the night's stillness. You can't run forever, Mia. The truth will find you. Freeze. The heaviness of the words crashed in, thick with menace and a kind of certainty that sent shivers down her spine. Two silhouettes emerged from the shadows, backlit by the moon, ready to unravel whatever secrets lay buried within her. Nowhere to hide. And the truth will reveal itself. We just want to help you remember. Mia stepped back instinctively. Adrenaline surged in her blood. There was no escaping now. What could they possibly want? Would the truth change everything? Or would it just rip her soul apart? She held her breath, the air heavy with tension, wondering if she could confront whatever awaited her. She had made her choice to run, but could she face what came next? Are you ready, Mia? The question hung in the air like a noose, tightening with every heartbeat. And in that moment, she realized the truth might just cost her everything. A chill swept through the clearing, brushing past Mia like a ghost, setting her nerves on edge. She felt like a deer in headlights, trapped in the gaze of those two looming figures. What were they? Friends? Enemies? Whatever they sought, she was certain it was far more dangerous than mere confrontation. Mia, her companion's voice wavered, panic creeping in as he squeezed her arm. What do we do? She couldn't break her gaze from the strangers. They stepped closer, faces obscured by shadow. You need to remember, Mia. One urged with a voice that dripped with insidious intent. Your past isn't just lost. It's dangerous. Dangerous? Mia echoed, thick confusion muddling her thoughts. What do you mean? The taller figure chuckled darkly, his silhouette shifting as he took another step forward. Your truth has the power to change everything. But you have to unlock it first. Mia, we can't trust them. Her companion insisted, tugging at her arm again. Let us run. This time she held her ground. No. If they know something, if I've forgotten something that important, then why don't you just remember? The woman taunted, a sly grin cracking through the darkness. It must be so easy with all those memories stuck in a dark corner of your mind. Shut up, Mia growled, fingers curling into fists. The sensation of adrenaline coursing through her veins began to heat her blood. I don't owe you anything. The man stepped forward, startling her into a slight backward shift. Oh, but you do. They're not just behind you, they're in your head too. You just don't know it yet. A hollow dread settled like lead in her stomach. Mia squeezed her eyes shut, trying to block out their words to push them from her mind. Stop talking. She felt her resolve slipping, panic threatening to swallow her whole. Mia, the man continued, voice low and steady, the truth isn't a burden. It's your salvation. We can help you free yourself from the nightmare they've locked you into. She opened her eyes, anger flashing inside. Help me? You think I'm going to trust the likes of you? With a sudden movement, the woman stepped forward, reaching out as if grasping for her. You're running out of time. The more you resist, the harder it becomes. As the shadows moved closer, instinct kicked back into gear. Without thinking, she turned and dashed back into the woods, pulling her companion along with her. Branches clawed at their skin. The once comforting sounds of nature morphed into whispering threats that chased them deeper into the gloom. Mia, where are we going? He shouted, breathless. Somewhere far from them. She struggled against the underbrush, thoughts spiraling. We need to think. They ran until the blood rushed in their ears, fighting past the panic gripping at every limb. Then they stumbled into another clearing, wider and dimly lit by the moon. It was unsettlingly peaceful, a stark contrast to the chaos that followed them. Ahead lay a broken-down cottage, its door slightly ajar, the frame creaking eerily in the night breeze. Mia hesitated. Should we go in? She whispered, fear tinging her voice. They must think we're too scared, her companion said. He looked around nervously, glancing back toward the darkness they had fled. Maybe it's a trap. But something about the cabin pulled her closer. An undeniable allure of secrets lying within. We have to know what they know, Mia insisted, stepping toward the door. If I'm meant to remember, maybe it's in there. With them on our heels. Are you crazy? He snapped at as she moved toward the entrance. She could feel the shadows closing in once more. I can't just stand here and let them dictate my life. It's time to take control, she declared, pushing the door open and stepping into the unknown. Just as they crossed the threshold, a low growl echoed from the shadows behind them. Too late. The voice from the darkness purred, suffocating the air with dread. The truth is waiting for you, Mia, and so are we. The door creaked slowly shut behind them, sealing more than just their exit. It was a barrier against a world they thought was chasing them, but was it? A sanctuary or yet another trap? Would the answers they sought lead to liberation or ruin? Mia's heart raced as the darkness enveloped them. What awaited inside? She squared her shoulders, determination gripping her. Yet, an unsettling spark screamed through her the truth was no simple matter, and amid her quest for it, a realization began to unfold. Some truths are best left buried. The cabin's air was thick with dust and silence. Every breath felt like inhaling the remnants of lost memories. Mia stepped forward, her heart pounding fiercely. Shadows played tricks on her, elongating like waiting specters in the dim light. What are we doing here? Her companion murmured, eyes darting around nervously. Mia shook her head, feeling a magnetism urging her deeper into the shadows. We need to uncover what is hidden. It's like a missing piece of me is wrapped up in this place. She took a hesitant step, determination fueling her every move. Suddenly, a wooden floor creaked, and she felt a rush of energy. The old cabin had stories to tell, secrets woven into the raw wood and dusty corners. Faint glimmers caught her eye, framed photos, notebooks scattered like breadcrumbs, each leading to a clue waiting to be discovered. What if they come in? He urged, backing towards the door, but Mia pressed on, adrenaline coursing through her veins. We'll have to be quick. She hurried towards a faded photograph, and as she picked it up, memories flickered in her mind like fireflies. The faces were familiar, a younger version of herself and a woman she recognized, smiling against a sun-drenched backdrop. It was a pivotal moment she couldn't place. They think you know, a voice whispered from the shadows, still sending chills down her spine. She turned around, heart racing as she confronted the intruders, their silhouettes blending into the fabric of the dark space. Remember, Mia. If you unlock the truth, it will protect you. Let us help you, Mia. We're not here to harm you, the taller figure coaxed, stepping closer yet maintaining a distance that felt dangerously intimate. Why should I believe you? Mia shouted, her voice steadying despite the dread pooling in her stomach. What do you want from me? What we want is ultimately your freedom. But to achieve that, you must know what you're up against. The woman's voice was melodic, yet threaded with an unsettling sincerity that resonated within Emma. She clutched the photograph. Flashes of another life surged through her, a place filled with laughter, warmth, and a sense of belonging that felt so distant now. You're right, Mia breathed, her voice trailing off into thought. But I don't know enough. What truth do I need to remember? That's the question, the man replied, his intensity unwavering. But we can help you retrieve it. You have to trust us. Mia blinked hard, uncertainty boiling in the pit of her stomach. Trust? I'm not even sure I can trust myself anymore. Then let us start here. The woman moved closer, gesturing toward the photographs layered by years of dust. Look again. Dig deeper. The truth is buried within your own past. Mia moved to the old day planner laying on the table, its pages yellowed with age. Flipping through, words jumped out at her, dates marked with significant events, hints of promises and plans made and broken. Memories intertwined, sparking recognition. But the details eluded her grasp like smoke. I was going to, she hesitated, the weight of nostalgia heavy on her chest. Suddenly, the quiet that surrounded them morphed into frantic footsteps outside, the air thickening with impending confrontation. They're here, her companion hissed, eyes wide with panic. Then we faced them, Mia shouted, harnessing the fire igniting within her. She felt a surge of power, this wouldn't end on their terms. She stepped toward the door, determination pulsing through her every vein. I have to reclaim what they've taken from me. Mia, wait. The man called, but it was too late. She couldn't stand paralyzed, waiting for what they might do next. She flung the door open, eyes blazing, ready to confront whatever lay ahead, ready to fight for her truth. But what met her was not what she anticipated. The figures outside, the men who had pursued her, stony and tense, were met with a wave of hesitance from Mia. Listen, she shouted, her voice cutting through the tension around them. If you think you can intimidate me into silence, you're wrong. You don't own my story. There's more at stake, Mia. The taller man replied, voice low, his muscles coiling like a spring. You have no idea what you're standing in the middle of. Then tell me, she responded, taking a step forward. Share your truth, and we can determine our path forward together. Her courageous demand hung in the air, thick like fog, silence enveloping everyone as the weight of her declaration bore down heavily. Very well, the intruder said, a glint of respect mixed with grudging acceptance in his voice. Then let us reveal the truth. With that, Mia's heart raced, knowing she was at the center of a storm she'd barely begun to comprehend. The world shifted around her, a tide turning, as each person stood on the brink of something: other fear, freedom, or a different kind of imprisonment. Whatever it was, Mia felt it, a thrilling rush. This was where everything changed. She took a breath, steeling herself, ready for whatever awaited. The truth would come, and she was finally ready to face it head-on. And as the shadows lingered, Mia understood. Reclaiming her story was not just about survival, it was about empowerment. A journey awaited her, one filled with clarity that would define the next chapter of her life. With a surge of resolve, she stepped forward, ready to confront what came next. The truth would set her free. And that was just the beginning. You need to subscribe now because you don't want to miss out on the next gripping stories we have. Smash that like button now to show your support and make the algorithm happy. Flood the comments with your thoughts. What do you think Mia will uncover next? And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to experience this thrilling conclusion. Your engagement is everything. Help us grow this incredible community.